Tonight, Carnival 2020 has been postponed to 2021. A contingent of Cuban medical professionals arrive on island. And the Owen King EU Hospital is officially open.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 27th of March, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm lovely Saint Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Taking full account of the economic and public health implications associated with the spread and containment of COVID-19, the government of St. Lucia, while recognizing the cultural and economic importance of Carnival, has decided that it would be in the best national interest if St. Lucia Carnival 2020 is postponed to July 2021. The government of St. Lucia held several consultations with representatives of the Carnival community regarding the best possible strategy for Carnival 2020. The St. Lucia Carnival Bands Association has agreed that its members will present their 2020 portrayals in 2021 and indicated that prepaid purchases, deposits, and other similar payments will be honored. Individual stakeholders are expected to communicate directly with patrons and revelers regarding the rollover to 2021. Consistent with this decision, the government of St. Lucia will continue to monitor the global and domestic situation with a view to staging alternative events later in 2020, which might create economic opportunities for affected Carnival producers. Meanwhile, the government urges all Carnival stakeholders to take full advantage of the extended lead time in anticipation of an enhanced St. Lucia Carnival experience in 2021. In other news, Prime Minister Alan Shastny has expressed immense thanks to the government and people of Cuba as 113 Cuban medical professionals arrived in St. Lucia to lend support to St. Lucia's ongoing efforts to strengthen the health system amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister noted that St. Lucia has only had 3 confirmed cases, but St. Lucia remains in preparation mode, setting up quarantine and respiratory hospital facilities, as well as transitioning to the Owen King EU Hospital. The Prime Minister says the local team has been working very hard and going above and beyond as the country tries to be as prepared as it possibly can. The Cuba team will be of great help in stabilizing that initial transitioning phase to the new hospital and providing support in some of these areas. The Prime Minister thanked the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba and the Ministry of Health and Wellness and all other stakeholders that made the initiative possible. The Owen King EU Hospital is officially open. The doors of the hospital will open to receive patients from the Victoria Hospital on Friday, the 27th of March. The move was one made under duress as officials scrambled to get their house in order for anticipated community spread of the dreaded new coronavirus. The Victoria Hospital will now serve as a respiratory hospital, whilst the Owen King EU Hospital takes on the general patient population. Transition Director Dr. Lisa Charles briefed the media as the move was in progress.
The long-anticipated wait is over. We are standing in front of the OK EU Hospital, where patients and the employees of the Victoria Hospital are being transitioned. Transition Director Dr. Lisa Charles led the charge. She says months of groundwork paid off, but in the field of medicine, one learns to expect the unexpected, as life and death situations must be confronted at any given moment. Dr. Charles informed that one patient was in distress during the move from Victoria Hospital to OK EU, but she says the matter was handled.
We had one patient who, on the way to the hospital, she was very sick from the admission point of view, and on the way to the hospital, she had a little bit of difficulty breathing, and we were able to bring her straight to the ER, which is the protocol, where there are 3 senior physicians, and they've settled her nicely, and she's going to move up to the ward as soon as we're comfortable that she's fully stable.
Otherwise, she says the tall matter of an expedited move to OKEU was executed in a pretty much seamless fashion.
At 8 a.m., our first patient actually crossed the threshold of Owen King EU Hospital at about 8:15. We've transferred about 10 patients. It's 9:45, so we've been moving along very smoothly.
In an effort to not overburden any one ward at one time, the patients were cycled.
We have 5 ambulances that are cycling about every 5 to 10 minutes. We have 2 ambulances from Red Cross, one from the St. Lucia Fire Service, one from St. Jude Hospital, and then a private ambulance company. And what we do every 5 to 10 minutes, we have from last night selected the sequence in which the patients will be transferred across, making sure that we don't send several sick patients at the same time, making sure we don't stress one ward more than the other. So we're sequencing them. So there's several different wards. You have the pediatric for children, surgery for surgical patients, medicine. So we're kind of going in a rotational sequence. So we'll start with a pediatric patient. The next ambulance will leave with a medicine patient. The next ambulance may leave with an obstetric or pregnant patient, so that each ward has some time to settle in their patient before their next patient arrives.
The OKEU hospital is to welcome over 200 staff and only 50 patients, the lowest patient census in more than a decade. Reporting from the OKEU hospital, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
For years, the public has clamored for the opening of the Owen King EU Hospital. On Friday, the 27th of March, the full transitioning from VH to OKEU was completed. Members of the public were eager to weigh in on the long-awaited move, albeit during a state of emergency for COVID-19.
The completion and opening of the OKEU hospital has caused much debate for almost a decade. Today, Friday, 27th March, the hospital finally opened its doors. We asked the public, how do you feel about the OKEU hospital finally being opened?
Si Owen King pour côté en situation pour accepter mon pour actuellement. So, si on bagay qui fait, moi tan ministre avec moi ça porter voyer, il dit bagay là pas tellement grave qu'on y été considéré. C'est Bouglandité qui ban nous l'hôpital là vini et qui ba yo on dé. Si vous comptez from 1 ou 10, you ba yo dé. Qui ça qui a changé en 4 années yo là? Qui fait place là acceptable à tout le monde. Et further, c'est Indien qui n'y place ça. Yo ni on liste ça soyi. Mon désir c'est de pas on liste. En même Owen King, même l'hôpital là. Now yo fait un deal avec ces bourg qui sorti côté Cayman Islands pour conduire place ça. À sous qui conditions? Nous obtenons nous pas savent. Nos yo te dit yo pas te vle encore yo ka crier nos pour vivre. Cause nos là c'est nos ça même peut-être ni même problème non. So pas ça juste amasser moun. Et juste porter yo pour faire travail en parmi gens ici étrangers puis c'est nos là actuellement yo c'est étranger.
I am happy to hear that and to see that the hospital is open, right? But to me, something had to happen in St. Lucia so that they had to open that hospital. I find they take too much time on that. And really and truly, right now, we need each other. We need to lean on each other's shoulders. So what they did there right now, it's better.
It's good. We have waited long enough. And it is good. Especially right now, with this current situation. It is good.
Well, that's good because it was about time for it to open. Well, I'm happy.
It's been a long time coming, and if it had to take an incident to open this hospital, that's a sad thing. However, I'm happy that it's opened.
I gotta tell you, like, you see the OKEU hospital that it's open today, is praise God. Praise God. And then, what I have to say about it, we have to see about our country. We don't have to think about money. It's not a means of money. It's a means of our country. We are fighting against the virus. So if the OKU hospital today is open, is praise God for the public.
I'm happy that our hospital is open today. Of course, this is long overdue. I mean, congrats to the move by the government of St. Lucia. And of course, we're hoping that with the move, it will help facilitate all the health issues that we have going on, especially the coronavirus. And of course, we heard that the Victoria Hospital be used as a quarantine area for those who may have been contaminated and so on. So I'm happy that this move, at least it gives us more room space to do more in terms of our health and safety of this country.
Well, it's a good thing it opened. It was time for it to open because probably it's the virus that take AKU hospital. That's why they open it.
AKU hospital today is a very good vibe.
But what I find, it's a good thing. But I just hope everybody get the good treatment they have to get, and it's not like VH and everything come in place and the people are disrespecting one another in the hospital before. Hope everything go normal and come and nice. And just be St. Lucia just like that, to protect everybody.
On chassé nos là qui était fait application pour aller l'Amérique. Trump dit non, il pas centré. So qui ça qui change en Saint-Lucie pour dire moi pour s'accepter mon à l'hôpital ça. Ça c'est ça mon pour dire. Et moi on y hope Jean Saint-Lucie il pas raconter bêtises et toujours qu'à porter commission ba yon a l'autre ça moi tend ça mais ma connaître. Si vous tend en bagaille que pas connaître comment on va faire en décision. Qui ça fait? Moi fait temps en Canada parce que 40 années, plus passé 40 et actuellement moi ça moto moi ni un condo là toute la journée yo ka voyer instruction pour ça pour faire. Puis ça c'est un bagage qui sérieux. C'est pas blague.
And this is how St. Lucians felt about the opening of the OKAU hospital. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, has revised its examination strategy for the May-June 2020 sitting due to the impact of the new coronavirus on the education system across the region. The revised format will see students being graded for the multiple choice paper as well as their school-based assessment SBA, while for private candidates, their Paper 3 SBA alternative will be looked at. The announcement was made by the Registrar and CEO, Dr. Wayne Wesley. There are, however, some exceptions to this, such as for visual arts, which will be conducted in the original examination format. He stressed that even though the revised examination schedule is July, CXC continues to monitor the situation. Meantime, the submission deadline for SBAs has been pushed back by a month from May to June. With regards to oral examinations for languages, Dr. Wesley said the dates have been revised as well. This revised deadline is, however, contingent on the ongoing effects of coronavirus on the region's education system. With only 2 days' notice, many customers rushed to the banks to ensure that all face-to-face transactions were completed before the institutions closed their doors come Monday, the 30th of March. The Hot 7 team took a look at how the move is affecting members of the public and whether they are at all reassured by some of the online options that will still be available to customers.
It's been 2 days since news hit the airways that members of the St. Lucia Bankers Association would be changing their operations. From since, all banks have been inundated with customers trying to get all transactions done before the banks close their doors on Monday. On Wednesday, 25th March, the Bankers Association of St. Lucia announced the following changes to their operation. Effective Monday, 30th March to Friday, April 3rd, 2020, the following services will not be offered. 1. In-branch and face-to-face transactions and interactions. 2. Night depository services. 3. Processing and clearing of checks. And 4. ATM deposits. Members of the public were eager to get in to complete their transactions ahead of the closure.
I am, as you can see, the elderly, happy one of course, and also handicapped. So I had the privilege But I came down this morning at 6:30, and there were 6 people there. So I took it. Believe you me, I have a card, and I'm not ashamed to say that I have never used the ATM. But this morning I had also a deposit with a check and everything, and that the ATM, I understand, does not take it. So I pity anybody who does not have a card and who have to. So sorry for those elderly. I think it's going to affect a lot of people not being able to face the person to get what you want.
Tilita Samuel says she was very satisfied with the level of service that was provided to her. Her son, Kennedy Booth Samuel, said while he understands the move is to ensure the safety of all, consideration should have been given to the elderly and disabled.
I think some kind of consideration needs to be made for the handicapped and the elderly and so on in terms of operations. And not only that, and just culturally, there's a generation like my mom before and so on. The technology, they are not friendly with the technology at all. A lot of them are actually frightened by it. So it is causing a lot of uncertainty for them and putting a lot of extra pressure. It shouldn't be. I think, yes, you are right, there should be some kind of special arrangement made for these so that they can do some face-to-face banking, even though it's one-on-one.
The banks were not the only places inundated with lines. Other financial institutions, such as credit unions, saw just as many people as many clients sought to get all their transactions done before the financial institutions closed their doors on Monday. A customer at the credit union says given the current crisis, having cash in hand is a necessity.
Just waiting to enter the credit union to do a withdrawal. I have enough time on my hands, so I'm at the end of the line now. That's the reason why I'm here today, and make sure I have cash on hand, you know.
All lines seem to be long. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Thank you very much, Genevieve. The president of the Vendors Association says it's time for the next step in the COVID-19 fight. That is assisting people with meeting their basic needs during the national shutdown. President of the Craft and Dry Goods Vendors Association, Peter Ras Iper Isaac, says comments by the Prime Minister urging households to prepare for the shortfall in income due to COVID-19 by rationing their supplies leaves much to be desired. Isaac says the government owes citizens an explanation on how it intends to cushion the economic fallout from COVID-19.
The next step is how to cushion the effects of that, people are staying away from work, unemployment, and those who are self-employed. How are they going to cope with that situation? And we need some serious answers. And the answers are not, to just ration, and if you have money to last you for 6 months. Who has money to last them for 6 months in St. Lucia? I don't know. Only the well-to-do. I mean, we don't have that. This doesn't exist anymore. People cannot even save any money at all.
He says for those in the informal sector like vendors, their bottom lines have been hurting from before the shutdown, during the time when cruise ships had to be turned away for health reasons.
These people are left, high and dry, with nothing to turn to. And in the first instance, things were already bad with them, even when the season was going on and there were not much things happening. Remember the time when ships come in, and if we find out that one person is sick on board, that ship was turned. They asked them to turn around, don't berth, don't disembark people, and so on. So we have been feeling the pinch in this regard.
To be clear, Isaac and his members say they fully support the measures taken by the government to safeguard the health of the nation. But his argument is that this is not enough.
We need serious answers for these questions, and not only trying to pass legislation to create, emergency situations and so on and so forth. We agree these things are good. We agree all the quarantine and all these things are good. But now we need to take it a next notch, one notch further. What are we going to do to assist people, especially the vendors who are solely dependent on the tourism industry, especially the cruise ship sector?
Isaac says for people who are already on the breadline and living hand to mouth, earning a daily dollar in the informal sectors that depend on tourism, the situation is already dire and warrants urgent attention. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, parents are cautioned to beware of psychosocial impact of COVID-19 self-quarantine on children. Hear how authorities hope to keep prisoners COVID-19 free. And not able to travel? No biggie. The SLTA brings you 7 minutes in St. Lucia. That and more coming up after the break.